Hi guys, as you can see I'm back in the UK at the minute. Uh, Hopefully this is working, so message me just to say yes it is or it's not on the like. Um, what's it like being back in the UK? I would say it does seem things are going up in price here, and it does seem to be a lot more political recently. Um, but not a lot else has changed. Um, the weather hasn't been fantastic, but it hasn't been raining, so that's a bonus. But it's been nice to get back involved in some large projects. The contract I'm currently on may end up permanent, which is another bonus in the sense that they have flexible working. They understand that I need to go backwards and forwards to Spain and the UK, etc. So there's a lot of upsides to this, and that's what I'm quite happy about. Is the fact that the job's quite mammoth in the sense it's quite a large project to undertake, involved in it, uh, and I think that's one of the key elements to this is that the scale of it will make it interesting. The setup is going to make it interesting because it's bringing a lot of stuff I've done before into one place. Now, I'm not really going to talk about assets and facilities management too much, but I'm just saying that the type of work is actually interesting for me. Um, but the fact that they're accommodating relating to traveling backwards and forwards as well, that's also good. So I'm waiting to see. I've already applied for something more permanent, but I'll wait and see because it all depends on the money at the end of the day. That's normally the final say yes or no. Um, but it's an interesting place, that's for sure. Uh, it's been an interesting travel over, in all honesty, because first thing we had was the plane was delayed for 2 hours coming out of Alicante. Then we ended up on Titan Airways because Monarch's plane was having technical failure somewhere. So I got into Birmingham late, but on the plus side, free food, free drinks on the plane. I'm sure Monarch got the bill. But normally on the short flights they hammer you with the costs of the food and drink, so that was quite a nice thing. I like one of the key things I do recommend if you do this sort of commuting stuff is give yourself plenty of time. Um, I actually arrived. I think I was when did I fly in? I think it was 1 or 2 days early. I did it on purpose because I know you get delays, you get problems, and it's nice to get organised rather than rushing right up until Friday because you're constantly catching up on your week because of disruptions. The next thing I had was the bank card. The bank card had also been, they locked the pin for some reason. It transacted online and only became a problem when on Thursday because I went to pay for a train ticket, and here in the UK, if you've got old five pound notes, they actually expired yesterday. You can take some to your own bank, and they'll put it in your account or whatever at your own bank. But a lot of places have stopped taking them already. You won't be able to buy a beer or something like that with them anymore. They're no longer seen as legal tender in retail stores. So I thought I had one, and I pulled it out. Went to pay for a train ticket to find out it wasn't a fiver, because my train tickets are about £11 a day. So the two fivers I pulled out was one new one, and the other one was €5, and I thought, oh no. So I tried to pay with a bank card. Pin's locked. The guy goes, "Oh, your pin's locked. You can't pay." I'm thinking, right, because my mobile phone that hasn't loaded yet, which I think is tied to the same problem with this locked pin. So I can't call to get it sorted there and then. It's like I've got the train coming in 20 minutes. And but lucky enough, I found a cash point and I worked at the cash point. And if you get in that scenario, here's a bit of advice. You unlock those pins at the cash machine. You don't phone it up. They won't unlock it over the phone. You actually unlock it at a cash machine. The thing with my bank card, you've got to understand, I've been back to the UK for ages, so it was just seen as some transaction because the card had suddenly become live, which was a bit of a nightmare. but that's one of those things. One of the things how's it going? Can you hear the sound okay? Is the video working okay? Because I'm getting disruption water. Um, well, one of the things I'm pondering at the moment is, well, let's stick with the train, because this is on a Birmingham campus, or to buy a car. But normally an R-in, because if I get a car, it's always going to be here. So even if I hop back to Spain for a long period of time, and the thing with the sorry, if I get the car, it's going to be here. So I'm thinking of getting something like a Vauxhall Astra or something not expensive, something cheap to tax, insure, and just leave. And then just get rid of it after a few years, you know, just replace it with another cheap car. Because I want to get a nice car, but in Spain. Yeah, whereas I did talk to the credit card company before going abroad to let them know that I was travelling and it's not stolen, being used by someone else. Yeah, this is the opposite way round. This is actually a UK card. This is actually in the UK. So it's actually using it where it came from. It's just that the card hasn't had any transactions on it. I don't think, no, hasn't had any ever, because my father brought it back out to me when he came out on his last trip, because I'd renewed my bank card and it had been sat on the side in the house. So he brought it out to me. So it'd never been used ever. So then it suddenly just flagged up, oh, it's been used, block it. But as soon as the cash point, I just unlocked it in the way it went. And that sorted my mobile phone out as well. But yeah, I think that's the thing. If you're going to do this where you're traveling backwards and forwards, you've got to understand that you're going to have these issues. This is why I sort of buffer some money. The same as like processing pay slips and things like that, because of I'm sort of self-employed. Well, I am self-employed in the UK, so there's a process of the documentation. I keep everything prepared. I've got copies of my passport, bank statements, everything, utility bills, the lot. So that if a company goes, well, we need this before we pay you, I'm like, there it is. Get me paid. Because I've got to be honest, I'm notorious for not working for people that don't pay on time. I just won't do it. I've done it for far too long. I've seen what other people have had happen to them. I've seen accounts delayed for pence. You know, they're owed thousands, but they were delayed for pence because there's an anomaly of 12 pence on this account, so we'll have to hold it. It's like, but you owe me £6,500. But yeah, it's just the way the market is here for a lot of companies. The annoying thing is, a lot of those companies have already been paid up front anyway, so they're actually holding your money. They owe you that money. They've made a profit on your money and still holding your money. So yeah, I'm not keen on that. That's why I'm notorious for being a real pain in the backside if people don't pay me on time. I just don't need it. I don't need the hassle. I work on time, job gets done on time, so they should pay on time. Simple as that. So yeah, it's a bit strange being back in the UK, in all honesty. Yeah, you can't see outside, but I've just done all my laundry for the week. So I've done my laundry and just now sort of chilling. Got to sit and do all my accounts for all my train tickets. And even that's a headache, because I've got to go to the train station tomorrow and, well, go and get a photo so they can make a card so I can buy a weekly ticket or a monthly ticket instead of a daytime ticket, because the ticket price is nearly half, you know, if you get a weekly, so it just makes sense. But beyond that, yeah, it works really good. I'm enjoying it. It's very complex. I've also got other people with other skill sets that I haven't come across before. So having them work, we're all sort of working around each other, because we're all doing completely different things. We've got two guys on Planon, which is a CAFM system. We've got some guys on BIM, which is so I'm not going to explain it. Look it up, BIM. And then I deal with assets and asset integrity, PPM registers. matching with SFG20, etc., etc. Who is watching after your place in the Philippines and in Spain? What it says. My wife's still in Spain. My wife's still there at the minute. I'll be flying back because I could have gone back this weekend, but the thing is, I wanted to get set up here and work. There's a few things I still need to do, but I will start flying backwards and forwards to Spain very, very soon. I've already got flights booked for later in the month. So, I mean, that's a key thing. I'm going to try and book 5 weeks in advance to get the cheapest flights. But my wife's still in Spain. She's in our house in Spain. April's mother's at the property out in the Philippines because they have the house next to our compound. So there's always people there. Yeah, nothing's ever empty. I mean, I've got to admit, I like that way. You know, I know a lot of people like to be living on their own space, etc. I'm more get a compound. I could have my apartment in the compound and have other people living in other apartments. I'm fine with that. You know, I'd much rather have a community around me. Just the way I am. You know, I think it's because I see too much in the UK. There's not that connection with a lot of people. You know, the sense of community often disappears these days, which is sort of sad. I think a lot of it's down to the way people work as well. You know, because like me, I'm working probably 30 miles away, so the people I work with aren't in my local community. They're probably in about 20 different local communities in different areas. So they're the same. There's no connection with working home at all. And then, like where we are now with my parents' place, a lot of the houses around here are now owned by the university or they're private landlords for students. So there's not really a sense of community there at all. So it's all gone over the years. That's pretty sad. I do find that quite sad, because I do think with a good developed community, it benefits everybody, you know, on different levels. So that's one of the things I do like about Spain. We do have a community there, and although we have a lot of properties that are empty a lot of the time, the people that are there know each other. So there is a good community there. So that's a plus on that side. So any downsides to doing the commuting? I suppose one of the things you'll have to get used to is, I suppose, that you're always rushing somewhere, because you're going to be going from here to, well, for me, I'll be going to work, then when I finish work, getting the plane to Spain, pick up my car at the airport in Spain, drive to the house. So it's like you're always going somewhere. You have less time in that sense because of the commute. But on the positive side, it makes it much easier to buy a property in Spain, for example, because we're not holding on to one in the UK, and the costs in the UK I just can't justify it. Yeah, I mean, the place we're looking at the moment in Spain is €90,000. Now that gives us a 3-bedroom with a roof deck. Now the thing is, I'm going to put down 30% deposit. I'm going to put 10% down for the tax. So my upfront costs are going to be about €45,000. But at the end of it, I'm looking at paying it off as quick as possible. So I'm debt free, and then that reduces my cost in Spain by 1/3, which, I'm not being funny, is nothing. It really is nothing. Once you get to that level, you know, you can sit back and enjoy things. What credit card are you using for the flight? 3 miles. I don't know. It's only a bank. I'm not a fan of it at all. I think if I go ahead, is going to be as short as possible because I want rid of the debt as quick as possible. I don't like it. Is the employer paying for the airfare? No. And a lot of this is down, but it brings up another thing with the HMRC, HM Royal, what's it, HM? Yes, it's a tax office in the UK. They've actually changed the tax system since I've been away. I do think they screw things up big time. When normally a weekly payment into it just seems bloody stupid. Because things like accommodation are built into a cost. So I'm not being funny. If I was stopping away somewhere, now that I can't get reimbursed straight away, I would turn around and say, you know what, you have to increase my day rate by accommodate. Because it's not paid next April. They increased the rates. I just said it's not worth the hassle. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why they've done it. Because people like and stuff. Because normally you get your timesheet, your expenses, etc., and then the VAT and everything is done on a weekly basis. The way they've set it up now is all that tax claim back will come at the end of the year, and it doesn't sound a lot, but if I turn around and said to you, well, if you were, say, earning £1,000 a week and your expenses are £300 a week, then ideally you want that £300 recognised as it's not income, it's a cost. Because that could be your petrol, could be your hotel, could be whatever. But with it being part of your income and not recognised for a year, you've already paid tax on it. You've already, because they'll do a deduction every week. It's just bloody, it's a rip-off. It might be this end though, because I just wanted to try this one, just see how it is, because I'm on an 80 meg connection, but it's quite, because I've got some other stuff going on in the background. But I'll just cut it off. I'll just say that everything's going well here in the UK. I'll do another update later on when it's a bit quiet. No problem I get in the conservatory is it relies on light. Alright, catch you later guys. Thanks for watching.